Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. And be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. One big question, of course, is who is going to play quarterback. And it's a conversation we've had for many months, really since we all knew that Drew Brees, his time in New Orleans, was going to come to an end after this season, which is now formal. And the question seemed pretty obvious because it was going to be Jameis Winston, as we've talked about now for many months, but then that got a bit convoluted whenever the Seahawks and Russell Wilson were at odds, and Russell Wilson's agent very publicly said there are only 4 teams to which Russ would accept a trade, and they were the Cowboys, the Bears, the Raiders, and the Saints. Well, then it got even more interesting when the Cowboys bowed out of any conversation for Russ by signing Dak Prescott. So really, it was a matter of the Saints, the Bears, and the Raiders. Well, Dan Patrick, today on his radio show, reported that the Bears did make an offer for Russell Wilson. And they did, in fact, make a very lucrative offer to Seattle for Russell Wilson. The Bears offered not 1, not 2, but 3 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and 2 unnamed starters for Russell Wilson. 3 ones, a 3, and 2 players. And the Seahawks said, nah, we're good. And I know what many of you are thinking right now. You hear that and you go, Matt, all right, it's time to bury the Russell Wilson conversation because it ain't happening. And part of me understands why you would say that. Because no one wants to feel like they're taken advantage of in a negotiation. I will maintain, however, that if you are going to win a championship in the NFL, then you had better have an elite quarterback. And Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback, and I would very much love to have Russell Wilson on the roster at whatever cost it would take. Even 2 players, 3 ones, and a 2. But what's clear is that Seattle wants a deal that's going to land them a quarterback. A deal with Chicago would not land Seattle a quarterback. Chicago has the 20th overall pick, and if they get Russell Wilson, their next 2 years' first-round picks are going to be likely in the 20s as well, or, God help us if they won a Super Bowl in the 30s. But the Saints at least have a tiny bit more of an interesting possibility. Because like we talked about with the Saints re-signing Jameis Winston, what that did is it gave the Saints options. The Saints now go into the season with a guy with starting experience who's had a 5,000-yard season, who's started almost 80 games in his career, talented enough to be the number 1 overall pick. They have that guy on a bargain basement deal, 1 year, $5.5 million. He could earn up to $7 million more in incentives. Great, you've incentivized him to be awesome. And he's willing to take that on. Sweet. And next year you can decide. If Jameis is awesome, sign him to a long-term deal. If not, go draft a quarterback. Or maybe this year, if someone falls in the draft, you can make a deal and go up and get a quarterback in this year's draft. You have options. What if you traded Jameis to Seattle? You then give Seattle exactly the situation you have now. They have a guy who can play quarterback for them this year. It buys them time to think about their long-term option, and it gives them assets to couple with their current assets to potentially make a deal in the draft to get an even better quarterback. Gives them options. Could Jameis Winston, an offensive lineman, 3 ones and a 3, net you Russell Wilson? I think you would at least make that offer. Similar to the Deshaun Watson conversation, where the only teams that were realistically going to be in the market for Deshaun Watson were teams that could offer a quarterback or Houston the opportunity to draft a franchise quarterback, like the Jets with the number 2 pick, or Jacksonville with the number 1 pick, but it seems pretty clear they're going to take Trevor Lawrence, or Miami, who could trade a top 5 pick, or Tua to Houston for Deshaun. You see what, like, those teams have quarterback options. The Bears didn't. The Raiders certainly could trade Derek Carr. That's a possibility if they want to, but they've been kind of mum. What about the Saints? I'm not definitively saying it's going to happen, but Sean Payton was on the Dan Patrick Show, incidentally, on Tuesday, and said, I think we're done. There's still a few calls we'll make, but I think we're done. Twice, he threw in that caveat that you never close the door on anything. There could be someone we're interested in. If the opportunity is still there, if the door is even slightly ajar, you get a crowbar, a jackhammer, a battering ram, everything you can do to knock that door wide open and go make this deal if it's possible. But it's going to cost you at least 3 ones, a 3, and a couple of players. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.